Hey, greetings, Jah Sparks.
Blessed love, Honorable Empress.
How's the
We give
audio going?
thanks. Oh, all are well, all
Everything
are
is
well. I'm
clear?
hearing you well. Yes,
Okay,
everything
good.
is clear.
I
How is
realize
the
that,
eye?
yeah, everything is good. Just trying to keep
Okay.
it positive. Everything is blessed.
True, true. We give thanks, you
Yeah,
know?
when you was in the backstage just now, I was asking you, could you hear me? But I realized we ain't on the stream, so you couldn't hear me.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
I.
I
Mm-hmm.
I know Nigus Kamal said that he's going to come on in a few, and he invited
Okay.
one of his brethren friends from Virgin Islands, but I think he said he lived in Atlanta or something like that.
That
And
is
I
great.
Yeah, I think Kufu was going to come through. I just text him too, so you know.
Mm. Yes, yes. You know,
It's
that we will love a full house.
okay. So everything is going
Yes,
well with the
I.
family. Everybody is good.
Yes, everything is well, the Most High is in control, you know.
True.
So we give
Exactly.
thanks for every moment, we give thanks for every situation,
Hmm.
because the situations, the conditions are not the controllers. We are the
Right.
controllers. So whatever is taking place, we have to observe and know within ourselves what part is it playing in our life, you know.
That's true.
We are all on a journey, and we must be aware of where we're going and where we're at, you know?
Right.
And once we are aware, then we will be able to see the situations for what they are, learning
Hmm.
experiences.
Right.
When it's difficult, when it's an obstacle, it's something that is teaching us. We have to learn something. So we pay
Hmm.
attention, we learn. Once we
Exactly.
learn it, we move forward, you know?
Because sometimes we're
So,
not learning. That's
yeah,
why the same thing keep happening. We draw what we put out.
naturally, because we only get what we give, you
Hmm.
know? So, whatever we give within thought is what we receive in experience,
Right.
you know? And that is very important, because that is the half that has not yet been told, so to say, you
Right.
know? What is actually controlling creation?
Hmm.
What is actually in control of what we're going through, what we're experiencing,
Right.
you know? So, as the title says, stop fighting the effects, change the thought, or change the cause. Because we're living in a world of cause and effect, and
Exactly.
we have to understand that every situation that we face, every condition, every environment cometh from a cause,
And sometimes
and
people
that
don't like to
cause.
hear that. uh, You know,
Yes,
a lot of
yes,
times
people don't
people
like to hear
struggle.
that
Hmm.
because they don't want to take accountability of their actions.
Exactly.
It's easier to blame someone on the outside for what is going on with you.
Hmm.
You know, it takes a
Right.
strain off of you, but if you blame yourself, then now you have to look at self and change self.
Hmm.
A lot of
Hmm.
people are afraid to face their skeletons or their demons or their faults, you know?
And why do you think that is, though? They'd rather play
Because
victim than than look within and see what's going wrong with them, and then they work on themselves and try to change it. Because you can't always be right. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It can't always
yes,
be the
you
other
know.
person's fault. It has to be. You
Hmm.
have to have some kind of accountability of why things are acting the way they act, or why you're getting the reactions that you keep getting. It can't just always
Yeah,
be one side of the scale. That's not no balance. You know what I mean? There's no balance in that.
yeah. Yes. And the reason for that is because most of them just are not aware of how creation works. You know, in the school system, what we was brought up in, we was brought up to face the conditions them as the causes. We are affected by conditions because of your circumstances. That's why you're going through what you're going through and all these other things. We was told the operation of creation opposite. You know? So when we was taught it like that, we are facing our own effects as causes. So then now we are being affected by our creation.
That we're not aware that we put on ourselves, basically.
Right. So in that way, we are blind to what is going on in creation.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are blind to what is going on in creation, you become a victim. And this is what is going on in the world.
Exactly.
Everyone out there are victims. Victims to their own imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it is very serious, you know. And one of our great teachers, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he was trying to teach us this.
True.
He told us that mind creates. And if you just meditate on that for a moment, you know, you would really ask yourself, what do he mean when he say mind creates?
Exactly.
He means that your mind is creating all the experiences in your life. So that makes us now have to take accountability for the things then that we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. For whatever we think, whatever thoughts we hold in our mind is what we are creating to experience. We see a world of oppression, then we are creating a world of oppression to experience. Our brain now is going to start to look. Yes, our brain is going to start to look and search for oppressive situations to put us in, to show us that those thoughts are real. Everything exists in creation. The
So it's
good,
like
bad, and the indifferent.
So it'd be like the subconscious mind is giving you what you basically asking.
Always at work. Always at work. That's the faithful servant giving you all that you're thinking of. That's who the world, the Christian world, is calling God.
Mm-hmm.
Your subconscious. You know? So these are the things then we must overcome.
Exactly.
So once we overcome these things, we can start to work on self.
Mm-hmm.
Clean up self, change self. All the wrongs that are in you, change it. Become a different person, become a new person. Like how the Bible says it's about the renewing of the mind.
Yeah.
You know, we was taught some real destructive ways of thinking, you know, especially in the school system. And we have to now change those things. Because this world that we're living in is limitless. Everything is possible. You know? Everything is possible here. It's the most beautiful place if you see it that way.
Yeah.
You see?
That is true.
You know, so everyone is saying, oh, earth is hell and this is hell. And they're experiencing hell.
Right. You say it enough, that's definitely what's going to start materializing.
Of course. And then when it materializes, they are unaware that it's their own creation, and then now they're upset. They're saying, oh, you see, I said so, I told you so, but of course.
Right. They're not saying I told you that I put it on myself. I said that
that's
this was
right.
gonna happen.
That's right.
While your neighbor down the street is living a life of bliss,
Yes. And then you're looking at them.
Down.
Yes, you're looking at them, you're seeing them partying, you're seeing them drinking, you're seeing them doing all sorts of things, they're making money, all these things, and you're saying, but what, I'm living righteous, I'm this, I'm vegan, I'm all this, and my life is so hard. Why? The reason why
really don't have anything to do with it. I think the vegan should have something to do with it, because you're eating clean, you would think that they're thinking clean, but I'm starting to see that that's just for your own personal good. It's not for who you interact with. You know what I'm saying? It's just to keep you healthy, but it's not making you a healthy person, so to speak, socially. Right. You know what I mean? You're still not using that good eating to think good, to bring good to you. You just still stay into your little box, but then your thoughts is bad. When you talk, your thoughts is bad. When you talk, it's everybody's fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because
you
the reason why
you see that food ain't really doing nothing for the spiritual, maybe just for your physical,
Yes. The reason why I mentioned vegan, is to do the contrast, because, like we in Rastafari, we always push italism, we don't eat any animals and such like that. Yes, but eating an animal does not make you more righteous or unrighteous as not eating an animal. It don't make you righteous, make you more or less righteous. And this is what I'm speaking about.
That's sad, but that's sad though. You know what I mean?
Yes. You see, it have people who claim that they're eating healthy and doing all these things, and yet still they're dying from diabetes, they're dying from high blood pressure, they're dying from arthritis, all these same diseases them. And they're not understanding what is the actual cause. You see, the people on the street who are partying and having fun and doing what they please, their mind is more free. They do not have any condemnations towards anyone. So their mind, where they're living in, is not going to condemn them when they do stuff. But you see, in the religious world, they have this tendency to teach us that we must condemn others of the things that they're doing. Oh, what they're doing is evil, what they're doing is wrong. It's not righteous, so they're sinning, so they should be punished. All these thoughts, we are having it in our mind. And our mind, which is one mind, one universal mind, is going to judge us the same way that we're judging those people. So this is why the sicknesses them come in. Because when you're angry, when you're stressed, when you're sad, when you're feeling disquieted, all these things, fearful, all these things are triggering chemical hormones in your body. And these hormones in your body is what is causing the diseases. It's not what you're eating. It's how you're feeling, your emotions. Anger is a hellfire. When you're angry,
because what happens is, because all of that good eating you just did just turned to toxic. If your thoughts is bad, your ways is bad, it's everybody's fault and not your fault. You're eating all that good stuff, but once it gets into that, corrupt thinking temple, science is out the door.
Any doctor will tell you that. A doctor, herbalist, they will all tell you.
Not
these medicines are given to you.
Meat or anything, but I'm just saying there's meat eaters that are thinking more in a higher vibration than people who have been vegan for 20, 30 years. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. You could come back to even the sugar pill test. where someone is diagnosed with a disease and they do experiments by giving them a sugar pill. It has no medicine in it, but they're thinking that they're taking this medicine. And because they're thinking that they're taking this medicine, and by taking this medicine, they will feel better, they become better.
Thank you.
It shows you the power of the mind.
It just treats it. It's not curing it.
You see it. The medicine, when you have it in your mind that you're better, you convince yourself of that, you become that. Whatever you convince yourself of, you become that person. That's why they say, as a man thinketh in his heart, in his mind, so is he. So he becomes. Because we are not this physical flesh. This body is but, you could say, our mechanism, our machine that we use to interact in the physical world. Right. We are living in the mind space. We are a formless energy, a vibration, a frequency. And we are all connected. It's one vibration, which is consciousness. You see?
Yeah,
so if you realize
No, I was saying, I was telling that to a neighbor friend of mine the other day, that remember your health is your wealth, and it's mind over matter. So
that's
you say you borderline diabetic, here's a natural way to do it, but you know that you got to stop eating and doing certain things in order for those herbals to really kick in and work for you, unless you're just going to be taking the herbs and still eating bad and then be saying that the herbs don't work. The herbs do work, but you got to stop doing what caused the borderline diabetes in the first place.
You got to change its vibration.
Exactly. You can't say, oh, I don't eat pork, but I do eat it during Christmas because I love chitlins. But that's the worst part of the pig you could be eating. Maybe that's why you're borderline diabetic now, because every year you look forward to eating those chitlins. And your body is looking for it and waiting for it. So it's never going through a healing process.
Yes, I understand that concept, but, you see, the mind is something that we really got to look into, because our beliefs, our beliefs and our concepts is what is shaping our reality. We must take consideration of these things. And there is a lot of things that are written in the Bible that we must look at too, because a lot of people pushes off the Bible because of how it was given to us and the interpretation that was given with it to us. But the Bible is actually a book of mind science, and it teaches us how to overcome situations. So in the Bible, it speaks about, I'm trying to catch back my train of thought. We spoke about so many things in the Bible. Okay, let's take for instance what it says when it says, it's not what goes into your mouth that defiles you. For what goes into your mouth, it goes into your stomach, and then out through your jaw, out through your draught, purging all meat. What defiles a man is that which cometh out of his mouth, for it cometh from his heart, and that defileth a man. That makes a man good, or it makes a man bad. It makes a man go forward, or it brings a man down. The words them that you speak, the thoughts them that you're holding in your mind. If you see pork as something that is unclean, that will hurt you, and then you go and eat it, then definitely it will do you that.
I couldn't even believe he said that. That blew me away right there. I said, oh, okay.
Now, if he eat it, seeing that it is a creation of consciousness, and consciousness is perfect, and whatever consciousness creates is also perfect, then when he eat it, it's not gonna affect him. And this is what we must understand. We are being given narratives that are killing us. We need to start thinking for ourselves. This whole thing with this system, it's based off of money. And any which way where they can make money, they will push you that way. Thoughts is the only thing you need to heal yourself. So if thoughts is the only thing you need to heal yourself, then what is the purpose for buying all these herbal medication, going to herbal treatment, going to the hospital, all these things? You know, back in the day, you hear them speak about they use frequency to heal people, right?
Yeah, the healing hurts.
Right. What is frequency? Frequency is but thoughts. You can have a same thought that produce the same frequency of healing in you. Because every thought carry a frequency. That's why they talk about the words of life. There are words that give you life.
Exactly.
Come back to the Bible. A man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. Now, when you hear God, people think about an entity somewhere outside of self somewhere. But the term God, the Pi root meaning of God is to call, to invoke. So when you understand that, every word that you speak it, you first called it. You had an image of what you want to say. And then you put a feeling, you invoked it. You put a feeling behind that image, and then you speak.
Right.
You see it. And that's what it means. God, to God something, to call and invoke.
Yeah, it's like tapping into your higher self.
Right. In other words, divination. Yes, in its purest form. Speaking a word, believing that it's already done, and then see it happen. This is what I speak about with prophets.
It's someone in the chat named Four Corners Everything 3194. He's saying something about, I don't know if you see it, the gravity of the earth plane as well affects the senses, and as a result pulls the untrained observer to think according to the experience instead of in terms of higher aspirations.
The gravity of the earth.
Of the earth plane.
The gravity of the earth plane also influences the individual to think differently or come down lower from his higher sense. That's what it says. Because I can't see it, you know. Okay, it's kind of very small for me to read.
Okay. It says the gravity of the earth plane, the gravity of our earth, planet Earth, as well affects our senses, and as a result pulls the untrained observer, someone who's not trained in, I guess, the law of attraction that we're talking about, think according to the experience instead of terms of higher aspirations. So instead of having higher aspirations of something, I guess they
get caught up in the situations. Then you know. But what I would say to that is,
I think that ties in with the part where it's like you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. You know?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that the gravity of the earth has something to do with that.
So he's explaining it further. So he says, I'm saying our experiences are pulling on our ability to think positive all the time.
Well, it's according to how you think. If you think that way, that is what will happen. Our experiences are our effects. Our experiences is only coming from how we're thinking. Yes, so our experiences are not doing nothing to us. We are creating the experience. So now we have to observe the experience in that way. And when we observe the experience in that way, then we will be able to correlate thought and experience. We will realize the things that we're thinking and how they're playing out in our world.
Right.
And I wouldn't think that the what do you call it? The gravity of the earth is affecting anyone that does not know the law of attraction or anything. We are all consciousness. We are all perfectly connected. The gravity of the earth, the universe, and everything is in perfect alignment with us. Every individual, no matter whether they're so-called vibrating high or vibrating low, it's consciousness. The same one that vibrating low is the same perfect consciousness as the one that is so-called vibrating high. It's just experience. It's extremes of experience. All things exist within creation. All things, all experiences, every thought exists in the quantum field. And every thought have a right of expression. So when a thought is expressed, it's not expressed by the devil. It's expressed by the same one consciousness, the same Most High, and it have a right of expression. That is why we do not condemn. That's why we do not call one high vibration and one low vibration. You see it? We got to go back to the scripture, you know. That is one of the first laws or the first things that was taught in the metaphysics in the Bible. When it speaks about Adam and Eve, and then the birth Cain and Abel. You see it? Because the story of Adam and Eve is simply that Adam and Eve was put into a garden. Now, think of it this way. They were just created. They're like children, you know? And then their mother put them in a place, in a toy place or in a candy store, right? And said to them, okay, of all these candy then, you can take out. But you see this candy here, you can't eat of it. Because if you eat of it, you're going to surely die. And then leave. You know, natural to a child, that child is going to be curious of that one candy that mommy and daddy say don't eat. Yes, right? So take Adam and Eve story as that. They was placed in a garden and they was given a set of rules. You see it? And in this set of rules, they was told, of all the trees in the garden you can eat, but this tree of good and evil you shouldn't eat of. And then God leave, right? Now God leave. Adam and Eve, like children, very curious, because the mind is also a curious thing. It wants to learn. It's here to learn and experience, express itself. So they went and they touched the tree, right? They say that it's a serpent told them that, no, if you touch the tree, you'll be like God, knowing good and evil, right? We'll get to that there, right? So anyway, they touch the tree. Now God comes. This all-loving God, you know, sees them that they touch the tree and they eat of it. And instead of having mercy on them, he cast them out of the kingdom. Right? Now, Adam got to live by the sweat of his brow to eat bread. And Eve now got to bring forth children through pain. Just because they eat of a tree that they don't even conscious of what is good, what is bad, nothing. The children. Listen the story well, After that, and they was kicked out of the garden, Cain was born. Now Cain was supposed to be an evil person, and he is the one who killed Abel, his brother, who's supposed to be a good person. But the Kebranegas. In the Kebranegas, they spoke about this story, right? Now, when they speak about this story, they say when Adam and Eve was kicked out of the garden, immediately Cain was born. Now, when you look at that, you realize that they're not speaking about a physical child being born. They're speaking about a conscious state of mind. When Adam was kicked out, he was upset, just like any child will be upset. Mommy, daddy ain't give me no sort of mercy. They will start to feel away. It will create some sort of grievance within them. And this is the birth of Cain, that consciousness. So when a child is born, our children, and you bring them, you do not deprive them of anything in creation, because it will cause resentment to build within them. And this is the Cain consciousness that builds within us and have us one against the other, fighting each other.
Right.
You see it?
Right. I'll take it a little more ancient than that story. I'll take it to the Kemetic story, where you have Isar and Haru. Where Haru was born out of his uncle killing his father, which is where that Cain and Abel story came from anyway. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
yes.
But except it was Iset who went to go find the 13 or 14 parts of Isar so she can get pregnant and have Haru. But Haru was nothing like Cain in the Bible. Haru was a whole different character. He came to redeem his father from being brutally killed by his own brother.
Right.
And then fought his uncle and lost the eye in the midst of doing that as well.
Yes.
So the Kemetic version, to me, in my opinion, the Kemetic version is a little bit more foundational. It makes more sense. You know what I'm saying? The Bible version is a little bit fable-ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the Bible version
from a man's rib. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but those things. Those are metaphysics. It's allegory.
Yeah,
I know. It's not secular knowledge. It's not something that you gotta look at it like that. So you got to look at the Bible in a different way.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it like, the Bible will say one thing, but when you look at the ancient Kemetic text, it's saying something totally different. Like I said,
the stories mean the same thing.
Yeah, it has
the
same purpose.
Message.
Right.
Because the message is so in you. Do not deprive others of the way that they want to be in life, because it will cause resentment. Like with Cain and Abel also. When God accepted Abel's gift, but not Cain's, right? It showed again Cain having resentment. If you have two children, again, I will go, and you accept one gift and you don't accept the others, the other one is going to feel resented. They're going to feel away. And these are the things that birth in consciousness things, evil things.
Right. Because you can't favor one over the other. That's favoritism. You can't do that.
Right. So you're supposed to accept both gifts. That shows equality. This is what the Bible is speaking about. You see, in the Kebra Negas, it explains it. Because it shows you that, it tells you that everything comes out of heaven. Heaven is your mind. So the good come out of heaven, the evil come out of heaven also, which is your mind. There is nothing to condemn because there is only one power that is doing all the work, consciousness. And this is what we must over. You see it, Empress?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know.
You know, so it's a total rearranging of how you're thinking. What we was taught is the wrong way. The world we see today is what they taught us how to look at it. So that's what we're seeing. What you believe is what you see. And we was taught in school to believe the world to be a certain way. Remember, you know, our brain, this 10%, this physical reality is 10% of creation itself, right? 10% of our mental world is conscious. 90% of it is subconscious. So that means 90% of this world that we're living in is spiritual, is unseen, invisible. You see it? So it's a whole different perception to look at things. Then you would realize that the real world is within you when you close your eyes. That's where the real world is. And when you open your eyes, is but the shadow of the real world.
Right.
All that you see, your environment that you're in now, the things them that you're going through are all based off of your belief. Your beliefs them structured your reality this way. And this is what we must over. This is what has been lost from ancient times. You see it? And I love how you mention Kemet, ancient Kemet, because they speak of it too. Because I don't know their names, you know? Yes, but I know is Osiris, or Osiris is who? Aset?
Asar.
Asar, right? And then there is Isis.
That's Aset.
Aset, right. Then there is Heru, who is Horus, right?
Well, it's supposed to be Jesus. Yeah.
Right.
Horus, Jesus. Yeah.
Right. So those three, the same Trinity, the Father, the Mother, and the Child. You know, the same thing that they put in the Bible, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which we know the Holy Spirit is the same mother as Seth. And, you know, it's just different wording, but the same meaning. You know, because is one being birthing himself by himself to be himself. You see? And then they show you different aspects of that one being. And that one being is consciousness. You see it? And this is what the ancient Egyptians was teaching us. They even teach us about the sun and what the sun actually represents. The sun represents the consciousness of man, his human imagination. For out of the sun is coming all the effects that are in the mind of man. all that we see in creation, every alien that they talk about, every demon, every spirit, every ghost, every phantom, were all created by the mind of man. There is no other creator but man. And this is what we must oversee also. We are the operating power here. And what we believe, we experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that is fact.
That is true. If you don't think you're a God, then you're not going to get God-like experiences. You're going to get regular
And if you
man-like experiences.
If you continue to see yourself as a victim, as a human being, as a mortal, then we will continue to die. We're going to continue to be treated like a mortal, like human beings, like animals. Aside, we are greater than that. Animals don't operate like us. We have a mind. Look at what we can do. We have dominion over the heaven, the earth, and the sea. We write record of what is going on and taking place here. Who else but the Creator himself can do that?
Mm-hmm.
It's right. When you read the Kebra Niggas, it tells you that in the beginning of the Bible, when it says, God said, let us make man. It's God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, right? Which is the mother. They all decide to make man. Decide? So it's consciousness, light and darkness. Decide? And they decide to form man and become that which they form. So the same man is the same consciousness that created the man.
Right. Exactly.
And once we understand that, then we will be at peace with creation.
Right. And stop fighting.
Exactly. It's one consciousness.
Our own power within. We fight the power we have. We're fighting against our own selves.
We need to be concerned about our own business. Stop worrying about the other man's business. See where we want to be, see the type of life that we desire to live, and then fixate our mind there.
Because we should be a lot more advanced in 2026 by now. Not just Rastafari, let's just say so-called conscious people all together. We should be a lot farther. The Moors, the Hebrew Israelites, the this, the that. We should be a lot. You
tell me something.
It's like all these different conscious groups, and the Moors
how conscious are they? How conscious are they if they are still fragmented? Just as you're saying.
Exactly.
They're not conscious at all. And that's why the scripture tell you, by their fruit they shall be known. By what is taking place in their reality. That is their fruit. Their fruit is their condition that they're in. People thinking that the fruit is your children. No. Your fruit is the condition that you're in. It's coming from your thought. The Father. The Father tree. The beginning of everything. So when you look at people, you look at their organizations, then you see the fruit of it. See the position of their organization, where it is and what is going on.
It's still fragmented. That's what I'm saying.
Very much so. They're not together. It's not united. If one is conscious, then all is conscious. But if there is still separation, then none is conscious.
Yeah, it's still separation. That's the part that I'm getting to. That it's still separated. With
yes, everyone pointing finger. Everyone is still in this condemning mind. Oh, my way is the right way. No, my way is the right way. All ways are the right way. For every way cometh from a thought. So whatever you think of, you experience. Whatever you choose, that will be your outcome. You can't plant corn and then expect to reap beans. Whatever you sow in here, in the plane of the absolute, in the plane of creation, in the plane of God, is what you will experience in creation.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very deep.
Right.
We are responsible for whatever takes place in our life. If we sit down and we dwell and say we are living in an oppressive world, we shall have oppression face us daily.
And that's what's been facing us.
Yes. Why you think His Majesty tell us, don't seek vengeance. Forgive your enemy. Because He know it's about forgiveness. When you forgive, you are forgiven because it's one mind. So when you judge someone, that same mind that you using to judge them is going to judge you for every wrong that you do.
Well, Haile Selassie was the first one on the field shooting down those planes when Italy was invading Ethiopia.
Of course, you got to stand on the battlefield. You got to stand for righteousness and justice. If someone comes and attack you, you're not going to just sit down and let them take you.
Exactly.
You have to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, that's what turn the other cheek mean. He faced them with diplomacy, but no, they still want to come, so he turned the other cheek. If they want to bring war, then he bring war with them. And that's what it's about. Defending your person, your identity, your right of being. Regardless of who you are, defend the right of the being.
But Rastafari have done that, and still, what happened?
No, Rastafari didn't do that. Rastafari started to condemn. They started to do the same thing that was done to them. They're still doing it today. They condemn the gay community. You see, that is a major thing. The gay community have a right. Now, look at this. I will show you as a fact.
You think Rastafari did those things?
Yes. Rastafari firebomb the gay people them in the 90s. You know how New York was when Sizzla, Capital and them was around?
Yeah.
Them gays them had it terrible. And not just in New York.
No,
yes, right.
But that was
you see, after that era, what happened? The gays them brought themselves together and they create the LGBT. And you see when they united, you see what happened?
They got laws.
They couldn't even speak against them.
You'll go to jail. Mm-hmm.
Now, this is what the Rasta need to take into consideration. Unity is where the power lies.
Mm-hmm.
Look what they did. And they so-called claim to be unrighteous, ungodly. But yet the same consciousness that is keeping the righteous alive is keeping them alive too.
How about that?
The same consciousness that is allowing I and I to be how we desire to be is allowing them to do the same thing too. So who is we to condemn them? Just as we don't want any to condemn us, we should condemn none. And these are the problems that lies within society that keeps people down, keeps groups down because of these said things. Look how far the gay community gone.
I know. They got laws.
With the Rastafari community there. You see it. So it's not to say I am bashing Rasta, you know. I love Rasta, you know. I love what Rasta stand for, you know. Rasta is against the system, you know.
It is what it is, you know.
The things them that cause us to falter. Fire burning, Babylon and all these things. Condemnation again.
And
condemning your own self. How would you get free if you condemning another man?
Exactly. It's like we condemn, but then we don't build to make our condition better. So if you're burning Babylon, then we need to be building our own towns and our own cities. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but that's the thing. You can't
there's so much energy burning them down. We're not building because we put all our energy into there. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing. If you're condemning, think of it. If your thought is to condemn, what does condemn mean? To break down. Right. So if your thought is to condemn, to break down, what is taking place in your reality? You are being broken down.
And break down. Yeah. You're not thinking building and repairing. Right.
Exactly. And that is reality. That is the power of the mind. And that is what we're facing in reality. So if we're going after any sort of narrative that we didn't create of ourselves, then we're following someone else's way. We're fulfilling someone else's thought, not our own.
But Rasta didn't start out like that. How did it get down to this point where the condemning and tearing down?
Because it come back to the same religion. Religion that was taught to us is full of condemnations and judgments. Even when the scripture tell you judge not, the church still have you judging.
Yeah, somebody in the chat.
Don't be like the heathen. Don't follow the devil. All these things is what keep us down. Even to today, they're still following that same narrative.
Can you read the chat? Can you see the responses in the chat? Someone is saying,
as I say, how can I make it bigger? Can I make the screen bigger because it's very small?
Is there like a little small box in the corner of your screen where you can expand the screen? Are you on a laptop or a computer?
No, I'm on my phone.
So at the corner of your phone, you should see like a little small box, and when you click on it, it's supposed to make the screen wider.
Okay, let me see.
Well, he basically said all division are like they said in the Matrix. They're all programmed. Still advocates the snake to stay in power.
That's right.
For the snake to stay in power.
But that's right. Now, when you look at that same way, ain't no snake or nothing like that same way, you know. But I get the concept, you know. But all these narratives is what is there to keep us in bondage. Once we think in the way of the narratives, we are caught in their trap. We have to think for ourselves.
So with all the condemning, this is why we are
stuck.
Yeah.
And can't move forward. Spiritually stuck because we're sticking ourselves.
And we're constantly saying it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Right.
We're not taking accountability for what we need to be doing as a group, as a movement.
The door, the revolving door, the spiral going down.
Yeah, right. The downright spiral.
Not seeing our wrong, not seeing the mistake. It's right? And that's the problem. When we look at all our freedom fighters that came before us, it's right? When they came, we got to look at what they did, you know. They tried to change situations.
Right.
And you can't. You got to go to the mind, like Marcus Garvey said, liberate the mind of the man you will liberate the body of the man. You got to go to their mind. People's minds have to be rearranged and changed from the wrong way of thinking. From thinking that effects are causes, and therefore they are subjected to conditions.
Okay.
That is the biggest lie in creation.
And then with the different houses that's not even together. So yeah, you can have your Bingi, your Bobo, your EWF. You can have all those different houses within Rastafari, but they don't work together. That's right. They're all tearing each other down. This one don't like that one because the red is up and that red is down. This one don't like that one because they think that they're more official to speak on Haile Selassie than the next man is. It's going nowhere.
And we all missing the point. That makes us all just miss the point. And they start to go into their little different ideologies. Yeah. And the fussing and the fighting start when every man has a right. Bob Marley sing it, you know. People them hear it, they sing along, but they don't believe it. And if they don't believe it, they're not going to see it and live it as a reality. Every man have a right to decide his own destiny. Only when it affects us, we want to say so. You see, I will tell you, I will speak the Bible because it tells you in the Bible, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Now they will make us think that you must be afraid of God in order for you to start to learn and be wise. But it's the fairness one to another is the beginning of wisdom. For iniquity is unfairness. And the wicked is full of iniquity, unfairness. So when you have fear one to another, then you will start to see the wisdom of God. And you will start to grow in the wisdom of God. So we ought to be fair one to another. You read in the Quran, it tells you what caused the whole problem in the beginning. They went and they disturbed the peace of another. And when they disturbed the peace of another and they was asked why they was doing it, they say, oh, we are just correcting the wrong to make it right. What wrong is there you're correcting to make right? Everything has a right in creation to express itself. Consciousness is all things. Every thought exists, and every thought have a right of expression. And when we overs this, then we will all be able to live in harmony one with another. In that true unconditional love that we all speak so much about. Everybody living today off of conditions. Conditions run the world. Oh, well, if they ain't like this, well, then I can't be with them because they're doing that. I can't this, I can't. So much conditions. When will the unity come? It will never come with those thoughts.
That's what I'm trying to find out. When is it going to come? Because that what you just said is what's happening.
Yes, and it will just create more of the situations of division and separation, and then they will bring more of the thoughts because it's the same thoughts that creating the situation, but they're being affected by the situation. So now that making them think back the same way. It's a revolving door, spiral going down.
Exactly. Go back to the same. It's not my fault. I didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah. You know? So this is what you must realize, you know.
I said the accountability is just not there.
I'm telling you. You know what we need to teach? We need to bring the teachings of metaphysics and the metaphysical way of reading the scripture back to our youths then. Teach them that their mind creates their reality, and not just their thoughts, but their initial feeling behind the thought.
Where their heart is at. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that feeling, that where they see where that solar plexus is,
Mm-hmm.
that is the controlling point of the energy that is always being generated in your body. And that point, your solar plexus, is the organ of the subconscious mind. And remember, we speak about earlier, the subconscious mind is what they call God.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we have a control point of controlling God, calling and invoking.
But some people don't think that they're God, even though they're Rasta
because you wasn't.
They call them self-conscious or however, they don't see themselves God-like. They don't see their Christ consciousness. They think that
because
situations happen and they're supposed to be a God, but situations still keep happening to them.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what
just
I mean?
The narratives. The narratives.
And some people get offended when you tell them that they're God or goddesses.
You see, they got to break free. Okay? I'll tell you again. You got to get rid of all your authority figures that are in your life. Get rid of every authority that is in your life. And you got to claim back your authority. Claim back your identity. Claim back your person. And then from there, you got to now start to practice the controlling of your thought. Because there is a phrase that says, "Be still and know that I am God." In order for you to really know that you're God, you got to experience being God. It's not just a talk. It's not just saying, "Oh, I'm God."
Exactly.
It's right. It's not a talk. This is something deep. This is a real thing. And the only way you can know is if you, as Christ say, you want to know if it's I who do the work or my Father, then do what I do and see. You got to go into your mind, create a vision, create it complete, and then put your 5 sensory feeling to that vision and place yourself in the vision
and
make that vision feel as real as possible, as real as outside, right? And then you have to place your mind there, no longer seeing your current state, but only seeing from the vision. When you're able to do that, you're able to change conscious states, and you will change the things then that happen in your life. But you have to work towards it. It's a work.
So here we are in the chat again. It says, "I think the nature of being supreme is what has to be taught more. People debate words, but not process. If the process of how to be God is taught, people will get it."
That's right. It's a work. It's an inner cleaning. You have to go back into yourself, claim back your identity as God, and then see that by you having a vision in your mind, and then feeling yourself in that vision, claiming it as your own, and then walking from that point on as that person without turning back, you will have it. But you have to experience it to see. Once you experience it, then you will know that you are the one that is calling and invoking the situations that you're facing in your life.
So why
Until
isn't
then,
Rastafari doing that? Why isn't Rastafari utilizing those tools?
that's what Marcus did. And he drove 4 million people worldwide.
Sure did.
And he told us that. He told us, utilize your mind. See yourself where you want to be and then occupy that conscious state. And that is the practice. Like how Christ said, like how the story of Christ, when they tell you that you must be crucified. You know what I'm saying? Now, they speak about resurrection. But resurrection is something of the living and not of the dead. So if resurrection is something of the living and not of the dead, and then Christ say, no one crucifieth me. I have power to lay myself down and rise myself up again. And that power is given of me by my Father in heaven. What does he mean? The Father in heaven is your human imagination and your emotions, your feelings, and your inner eye. You see? That is the Father in heaven. You see? And we have the ability to lay down one version of ourselves and put it to death, crucify it, and then rise up another version of ourselves that is more acceptable to us, that is more pure, more doing what we desire then. We have that ability.
Ego death. Mm-hmm.
You see it? And that is what that whole thing about crucifixion is speaking about. You ending a life that you did not like. All right? You're going like right now, we all, the world, them, they're facing all this oppression, they're facing racism, all these things. End it. Yeah. Crucify that version of yourself and pick up another version. You have the power to do it. You have the power to think.
Right.
And your thoughts is what is creating your reality. So if you change your thoughts, you will change the circumstances of your reality.
Mm-hmm.
But many people is just they're blaming outside, blaming. They want to blame the government. They want to blame the system. They want to blame Babylon. You cannot change them. They exist in creation and they have a right to exist in creation. Because they are part of consciousness. And this is what we must overcome. We have a right to live how we desire to live. But the only way we can live the way we desire to live is if we think desirable thoughts only.
You have anything to say, Kufu?
Just listening, you know, I like to get a feel of the conversation before I say anything, you know what I mean?
Right.
Blessed love, Kufu. We give thanks to thy presence, you know. Like Ma always say, thy presence is the gift, and that gift is life, which we all are. It is one consciousness, one I, not separate from each other, but perfectly united in splendor. And when we start to see the world like that, the world start to reflect and operate for us like that.
That's right. I totally agree. I think what I've been hearing so far is really we have all of the answers inside of us. You know?
Natural.
But you have to know that. You have to know that you have all of the answers already. You just have to seek them within yourself. I like how you are describing the Bible. You're describing the
From
Bible.
a scientific worldview, not so religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because all throughout the Bible, it explains to you that you are God. You are gods. You're made in God's image. And throughout the Bible, it explains that you are God. But people don't. I think part of a lot of people's issue is they're only reading the words, but they're not really there's a deeper meaning. It's not just about what it's saying. They're reading it as a book. They're not reading it for the metaphysical aspect to it. You know what I mean? So they believe in what the words say, but they don't dig deep enough to get a true understanding on what it's really saying.
Truly.
Yeah, and that's where we go wrong, and that's where the division and the confusion. That plants the seed of division and confusion when a lot of the stories a lot of the stories that the Bible describes, they're metaphoric, they're esoteric, they're they're not meant to be taken literally. A lot of the stories is not meant to be taken literally.
Not right.
Yeah, that's where, from what I see, that's where a lot of the confusion comes in when people don't. They're looking for an outside source, right? They're looking for an outside source with all of the answers that they already have. You'll never find the answer outside of you. Right?
That's right.
So that's the problem. That's what a lot of these religions and schools of thought teaches, but it's because they want to control your mind. They don't want you to control your mind.
Right.
They want to control your mind.
Mm-hmm.
They teach you to believe in literature, right?
Mm.
And that's everything is too literal.
Yes.
So the spiritual aspect of things, like you said, it's deeper than that. Like it's what you believe. You are the creator. You are
That's right.
your reality. And if you don't believe that that's what you are, then someone will always, whoever creates that narrative will always control you, whether you know it
That's
or not.
right. That's right.
So I totally agree with you, my dear brother. Like you and I love the way you describe, because that's the correct way. That is the correct way, the deeper way to describe.
Give thanks.
The teachings, you know what I mean? That's the deeper teachings of the Bible. That's a deeper, that's the deeper way to describe, a lot of the stories, and that's something that I can definitely vibrate with. I can definitely agree with.
That's right.
It's just good to hear someone speak the way you're speaking. It's just good to hear that, because a lot of people don't understand what you're saying. It goes over their heads.
Yes.
Because it's not like how when you go to church and hear the pastors. You know what I mean? It's different.
He's reading
So they'll think that he's dealing with some kind of spookism the way he's bringing it.
Yeah.
It's
They don't deal with the spirit. They deal with the physical. They don't deal with the spirit. They deal with the physical. So he's sitting there reading the book for the words, not for not for the deeper meaning of what the word.
Yes, not for the meaning.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
like the majority of the people, in these different religions, whether it's Islam, you name it, whatever religion, it's all the same.
Yes.
It has the same concept to it.
Yes.
You believe, I'm going to make you believe. I'm going to convince you to believe that you're not God. So I can control your fear. I can control your finances. I can control your your family life. I can control everything about you because
Yeah.
Especially the finances.
yeah, exactly. So
But that's the biggest trick, the finances. Because they make the world now think that they make the majority of the people them think that the world is being run by money.
and and look how, and then they have "In God We Trust" on the dollar bill. Like, think about it.
Yes, it's psychological, you know.
Yeah, and God, we trust to keep printing this money. We trust God to keep
Yes,
printing this
you
money.
know, and everyone that actually participates in that system is helping to maintain and keep that influence going.
Mhm.
You see?
Fueling the machine. It's like an engine that and they
Yes, it's,
feeding it. Keeping it oil, keeping water in it.
yes, yes.
And it,
Because everybody is working hard thinking that they need to work for this money in order to be able to live and survive and live a good life or whatever. But we don't need money. Money needs us. We are the operating power. Without us, money can't exist. So how then could someone come and say that you need money to survive and live?
and it's really
In just the words.
it's really an illusion. Money is an illusion.
Yes. That word there will trap you in that illusion. You need this money, eh? When it's actually money need you? Okay, so come and chase it. And no matter how much you chase, the man who say he want 100,000, when he gets the 100,000, remember, you go and buy things, you want to live, eat, do what you want to do, right? Go places. The money's soon done, So now instead of the 100,000, you want 200,000. That money gone done too, So now we want 500,000. That gone done too. He want 1,000,000. So what is this showing you? He has now become a slave to that money.
The more
He
you
is
make, the
no
more you
longer
want.
Lord and master of his life. And this is how the system is taking away our identity from us. For our identity is the power. When you believe in yourself, you regain all your power. And you're able to call forth and invoke whatever you want in your life.
Please say that again.
It's a process.
Because I said, please say that again, because I actually have been doing that these past 7 months. And I'm not going to say how I'm doing it, but I'm just telling you that
No.
working.
The reason why I laugh.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I laugh. Sometimes I speak in spirit. I don't remember what I just said.
Well, you just said that we can create what we want to happen.
Yes, naturally. Sometimes.
And I'm saying I'm telling you, you are 1,000% right, because I've been doing that for the past 7 or 8 months now.
Yes.
It was a certain process that I do when I'm doing it, but it's working.
Yes.
It's working just the way I asked it to work. So I'll write it down in this notebook.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if y'all can see the notebook. I write it down in this
Yes, I
notebook.
can see it.
I take this notebook and I read what I wrote and stand in the mirror. I'm mirror matching it. I'm saying it to my heart. I'm talking to myself in the mirror. Or I memorize what I want to say while I'm looking in the mirror, and I'll turn the light off in the bathroom so it's pitch black. Me walking into the mirror, and it's so dark that after a while I could start seeing in the dark. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm seeing I can see the silhouette of myself in the mirror.
Oh, most natural.
It's called mirror magic. It's mirror magic to manifest what you want to happen. So if somebody say, "Oh, you can't get that apartment. That apartment is $1,900 a month." Oh, no, you can't get it, but I'm gonna get it.
Exactly. Right. You have to think for yourself. And
did you know that a thought creates an atom?
Of course, the thought is an atom.
So
They don't create the atom.
it's
The
like
thought is an atom.
So that means I was creating more atoms, but an atom was being
Yeah.
activated.
What what the thought does, the thought correlates, because the thought is invisible. The thought is in the spiritual world,
So
the realm of
explain-
invisibility.
So
So
explain
it
how that thought in the
correlates.
atom made it materialize.
Right. So in the physical world, where that thought is expressed already in physical form, the spiritual thought that you're having is now going to correlate with that thought and draw it to you. So if it's a car you're trying to manifest,
Okay.
your spiritual thought of having that car is going to go out to the car physical and start to make ways, make events, circumstances to draw you to get you to that car.
that's a good way to describe exactly what I was about to say.
That's why I'm
Mm.
asking to explain it so people could get a visualization of it, you know? While
Yes,
we're
most
talking
definitely.
about it.
A way to describe it would be like, okay, everything that we see was a thought first. These mics,
Yes,
these cameras, this everything physical that you
yes,
before it came into existence, somebody had to think of it first.
that's right.
That's the
That's
atom.
right.
Like the snowball effect, how a snowball starts small, even small,
And it keep getting bigger. Right.
you know, and your thoughts. That's how God's create. That's the creation of God in itself.
That's right.
You know,
That's
and
right.
what you were doing was creating your own reality by thinking of it first, creating the atom
Yes.
and snowball effect.
Mhm.
It goes out into the
Yes.
universe, it comes back down and manifests into reality.
That's
So when
right.
when I saw the silhouette in the dark,
Mhm.
was those the atom particles materializing, so to speak? Like
Yes,
how
it's your,
would I
it's your
explain
brain
that?
cells. Your brain cells and the atoms in the universe is the same thing.
Mhm.
You see it? So once you have a thought, once you think it, because remember, you are not in your body. Your body is in you. You are consciousness. You are what they call the soul. What is the soul? The soul is the whole entire creation, the whole of life, the whole of all consciousness is the soul. And that is who I and I are.
Right.
And then now we have individual bodies or machines where we can, how I should say, interact with the physical world.
This
Right.
is just a vehicle. This is just a vehicle that our
Yes, it's just a machine.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to operate your machine in order to get the effects that you want in life.
So someone in the chat said, well, the same person, the four corners, everything. I was talking about all this today. That's my word. And then it says, so this moment is the unfoldment of my thought in the form of an echo.
Yes, it's the unfoldment of your former thought, your thoughts of
He
yesterday.
was talking about what we were talking about earlier
Or
today.
earlier, yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it feels like it's just circling back
It's
around.
just an echo, yes.
You
That's
know,
exactly
like
what
an
it is. The unfoldment. So you had the thought, and then now you will come and experience it. And that's how creation works.
With this podcast. So
Yes, anything you wanted. You wanted to do a podcast, you had to have the thought first.
true, I
Then
did.
from the thought,
I
you
wrote it
had
down.
to have
Yes.
you had to have a feeling. That feeling is the driver of the thought. So now you had a confident feeling that, yo, I could do a podcast and I could draw people, and bring my people them together and bring, good reasonings to the people them so that they can get knowledge of themselves and get out of the situations them that they don't desire themselves to be in.
You just nailed it, Jah Sparks.
Yes.
That's why you on here
from
now.
that, the bridge of events start to unravel because you did not turn from the thought. You was certain and confident that this is what you want to do, and then you just step off, and it just happened.
And it just happened. Yeah.
It wasn't by force, it was just natural. Because you have already claimed it in consciousness.
True.
You have to add the willpower to create something. The willpower is also what adds on what helps drive you to
the action and
having the willpower.
Also, you know what I have learned with the willpower? The willpower is not something for you to use by force. The willpower is something for you to use in surrender. Because how it works, if you can go into your mind and think of a reality that you desire to be in, right? Mm-hmm. You have to now be able to see it, claim it as your own, and then see from that state, see the world from there. The only way you can do it is if you can surrender to that state and give your all to it and say, okay, this is the life I want to live. This is what I'm living now. I surrender to this life. Now, this is all I'm living. And then now you utilize your will to stay in that conscious state, regardless of what else is happening around you. That is what the will is used to do. In creation, controlling your thought in the way of your desire, thinking nothing else. You cannot go into the kingdom for what you want and then exit the kingdom without having it. You have to stay in the kingdom till it materializes.
Yes, build it up, exactly.
So you can't be in and out the kingdom. You can't say, okay, I want this life. I want this in my life. But then after you imagine it, after you feel it, after you say it's yours, then now you come now and you're looking at your old circumstance and you start to claim it again. Oh, I can't take what I'm going through. I'm tired of this.
But
that's what they speak about.
To the same circumstance.
Yes, that's what they speak about in the Bible when it speak about the master who went and sowed good seeds in his field. Mm-hmm. And then when he done sow these good seeds, he had a perfect imagination of his life that he want. And then when he done sowed it and came out of that imagination, his circumstances start to affect him. He fell asleep. He forgot his imaginative state and fell asleep and start to get affected by his current state. And when he's affected by his current state, that is the enemy that comes in and sows seeds because you're thinking in that way. So thoughts now are being planted in your mind that will germinate and come into fruition. So that's why you have to be very careful with what you're thinking. You have to learn to control your thoughts first before you go into anything about imagination and trying to manifest and do all these things. You have to really understand what faith is. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the thought out of which that thing comes. That is what faith is. And then you have to control that thought, claiming it as yours, holding it and loving it and protecting it, being faithful to it, not letting anyone come and try take it from you, not giving it away to anyone for some old circumstance. No, this is the life I love. I will think about it all day long. I want to be here. This is mine. That is the attitude we have to have. Confident in it. Certain about it. And we will see things change. We will start to see effects of the things that we are truly desiring.
And you know what? I want to play this clip because it ties right into what you're saying, what we all have been saying, and the person in the chat is saying.
Excuse me one second. I got to use the restroom.
Okay. All right. I'll wait till you come back. Yeah, Kufu. It's like the first time you can get somebody to talk about the Bible without getting religiously fanatic and franicky.
Oh, well, that's why I that's why I can relate to it. Because people don't read the Bible like that. They read it. They're into literalism. They read it. They really think that there was an ark that one man created an ark. I ain't gonna get, but you know what I'm. You know what I mean.
You still got a headache. You're gonna have another one, right?
That's why I just got rid of a headache. I don't want to give myself another one. But
trying to tell that story again, right?
Man, can't do it. But yeah, it's definitely it's a metaphoric book. You know, it's esoteric. It's has some science to it. You know, they put a lot of secrets, messages in the Bible and in the scriptures and stuff. But you gotta know. You gotta know how to put it together. You can't just read it. You can read it from beginning to end, but it's just going to be like you might as well read it. It's going to be just as fictional as reading a comic book if you read it that way. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to.
It's going to be like a fable in a sense.
Yeah,
you know,
you're not going to get the real meaning of things. You know, if you read it like it's a storybook. It's not a storybook. You know, at all. You know, it has stories in it, but the stories are meant to. They're meant to teach lessons. They're meant to teach you things, and not for you to believe literally. You know, that's what the majority of the problem with. I think you guys was talking about the different tribes, or educate me on the Rastafari movement. I don't really know that much about their movements and things like that. I don't really know that much about it, but I do know, like, from what I heard y'all say is, you know, they're not getting along with each other, and I think the brother mentioned something about they have different beliefs, or
remember when we went on Priest Isaac's show?
Yeah.
You remember that little charade that went on?
Oh, how can I forget?
Yes, that's some of the things that he's speaking about. Basically, it's about 90% of what he's speaking about. The other 10% will be we lack in economics. We have no infrastructure. You know.
Yeah. And it don't seem like people want to come together to. Economics is everything. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, as far as being able to afford to come together, being able to come together so we can afford to do things together. You know, the problem is we just can't seem to get along with each other good enough to even get to that point. Where we're keeping the black dollar spinning, you know, with each other. You know, keeping our money, keeping the black dollar spinning in each other's hands. Supporting each other's businesses and keeping that money in our community.
Exactly.
That's the only way we're gonna, you know, see some type of progress is when we can put our differences aside. You know, differences aside. Like, we don't have to agree on everything. You know, we don't have to agree on everything. But can we agree that we need to get an economic hold and grip on our communities and stop letting these people, these different, the Chinese and the Indians and you name it, they just come in our communities and just take everything over, and then we spend our money with them, but they don't spend their money with us. They don't invest in our, they don't invest in our communities. They just take from us.
Someone in the chat says, Empress, I'm going to assume you're going to play homie on the right, but I saw that video about 7 p.m. So here comes another echo effect. Here comes another circling around. And he's like, this is divine for your information. And I just thought about the video and I said, you know what? Since Jah Sparks and Khufu was speaking about it, let me just play the video, because he's saying that the outsiders that's looking in at us is seeing this problem that we're talking about. So it ain't just me, you, Khufu, and a little small collective of us that see this problem. The other races is seeing it too, and now they're starting to be bold enough to tell us in our face that they see it too. So listen to this. Here we go. Let me play it.
Are you playing it? It's not playing on my end.
No, she's not playing. I don't think she's playing it yet.
Oh, okay.
I think it probably stuck. She probably got to take it out and bring it back in. Reload it.
Wait, you say it wasn't playing on your end?
No, we didn't hear it.
All right, hold on. Let me refresh it.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. I'm going to play it from... Hold on, let me get it. All right, here it is. I was supposed to go to the YouTube and play it instead of playing it off of the Facebook. All right.
Okay.
Black people. I looked him back in his eyes and said, why you don't like black people? He took a sip of his vodka, a tug of his cigar, and he turned his head and blew the smoke. He said, man, you guys are the most gifted athletically. You're physically strong, but you're mentally weak. He said, y'all still slaves. You're just mentally slaves. You're still filling up the prisons. You're still killing each other. They just don't have the chains on you. If it was us and they tried to enslave us, they would have to kill all of us, because dying is better than being a slave. And I grabbed him in his, I don't know, $30,000 suit, and I told him that's exactly how I feel. And I have a tough time showing my kinsmen, other black people, exactly what the you're talking about. But I'm not that guy. I let his shirt go. He looked at me and he said, you're the first I ever met. And he shook my hand. And I actually respect him for coming to me so boldly and so strongly, telling me exactly what he thinks. This Russian guy just walks over to me, looks me right in my eyes, say, I don't like black people. I looked him back in his eyes and said, why you don't like black people? He took a sip of his vodka, a tug of his cigar, and he turned his head and blew the smoke. He said, man, you guys are the most gifted athletically. You're physically strong, but you're mentally weak. He said, y'all still slaves. You're just mentally slaves. You're still filling up the prisons. You're still killing each other. They just don't have the chains on you. If it was us and they tried to enslave us, they would have to kill all of us, because dying is better than being a slave. And I grabbed him in his, I don't know, $30,000 suit, and I told him that's exactly how I feel. And I have a tough time showing my kinsmen, other black people, exactly what the you're talking about. But I'm not that guy. I let his shirt go. He looked at me and he said, you're the first I ever met. And he shook my hand. And I actually respect him for coming to me so boldly and so strongly, telling me exactly what he thinks. It's Russian God.
All right, let me. Something just came to my head, right?
The Russian guy told him this.
But
so
guess
they're
what?
watching us, Khufu and Jah Sparks. They watching us.
Guess what? Russia was one of the only European countries that never enslaved people and never enslaved black people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, so it's like they've been watching us from afar. And guess what's happening right now? Why do you think, like, the Russians is over there fighting right now because they don't want the West and the United Nations, you know, moving in on them, you know. And it's like, so they're kind of like, they've been watching us from afar, basically. They understand us. They know who we are more than we do.
Mm.
You see, we don't know who we are, but they know who we are because they've saw us. They saw our ancestors, you know what I'm saying, being enslaved by their, you know, by their European brothers and sisters. They've just been sitting back watching us from our enslavement to, you know, being dropped off on the islands like Haiti and Jamaica and the islands and South America. They've watched all of that, right? They didn't really necessarily, even though they benefited from it, all Europeans benefited from that, right? But they didn't have a direct hand in it. So for him to say a Russian, I mean, the Russians will keep it real. The Russians, he kept it real with them. He kept it real.
Very real too.
And you know, and the Chinese think like that too, because there was a drug lord in New York City. He said he went to China to do his little drug business or whatever, because they wanted to meet him in person. They were already doing business from China to New York, but now they trusted him, so they wanted to invite him to China. And he said when he walked in the room, it was about 50 to 100 of them in there, right? And he said that you can just feel the unity, you can feel the brotherhood, you can feel it. So the head man, of course, said to him, you know, the whole world follow you guys. From your clothing, your music, you're just a trend. He said, but one thing you guys don't have is unity. Why? And his response was, he said he didn't even have a response. He didn't even have an answer to give him. So they've been watching us for a long time and wondering, they got all of this talent, all of these skills. The world follows them. The world is following them, but yet they don't have one simple thing, and that's unity. He said he didn't even have an answer to give him. With all the drugs that he done sold in his life, he's this big bad man, and he can't even answer to his own. He can't even give an answer for his own problem. You know, it's our problem. So he said his problem. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. You know how? Okay, like for example, like.
And it's sad because they see better for us than we see for ourselves.
Yes. You know, sometimes the reason it's like that is because, you know, we was taught that way. You know, and we got to realize this: 400 years of being taught this way, you know, it really takes effect, you know, at some point. You know, we got to go back to even Willie Lynch. When Willie Lynch came and said, when it is psychology they use, mind science they use against us, you know? And this mind science is still working today. That's why the Russian guy can tell him that we are still enslaved mentally. Because mentally we don't realize that we are the ones that actually are in control of creation. And once we take back our identity, the system loses. They get weaker. Every identity that is taken from them makes them weaker. They need us to trust in something out of ourselves, outside of ourselves, to say, oh, we need this, or we can't do without this thing that is outside of ourselves. Once we do that, then we're dependent on that thing. We become slave to that thing.
Mm-hmm.
When our thoughts is what create that thing. So how could we be slave to it? And we created it. So it is slave to us.
Exactly.
Look,
and this is what we must over us.
I have two concepts, right? To what you're saying. Let me add on to your knowledge, right? To what you're saying.
Natural.
Okay. We're basically the genies in the bottle, right? We're the genie has the power, not the person that owns the bottle. Right? The genie does not understand that he is the one more powerful than the owner of the bottle. The owner of the bottle is mortal, right? And he has to rub the bottle, and the genie does whatever. He can create whatever he want to create, but he doesn't have the knowledge to know that he's more. He doesn't have to live in this bottle.
Yes.
We are the genies in the bottle, right? That's who we are. And then another concept, right? Like, we're actually living in a circus, right? Because think how they train lions. They train lions to stand on all fours and do all these very powerful animals that they don't even understand that they're lions, right? Then you got the European guy with the whip, whipping these lions, making them do whatever he wants them to do. And they don't understand that once they recognize that they're a lion and they can just slap it.
Yes.
They can just, that's what we are. We're like in a circuit. They're using that same concept on us.
That's right.
We're the genies. We're the lions in the circus.
Yes.
We're powerful.
Yeah.
We are the genie.
You see,
yes.
all in the mind. The lions don't understand that they're more powerful than the person with this whip. They don't even. He's totally taken that away from them. They're understanding yourself, right?
It took their identity from them. And that's what this is about, identity theft. They took our identity, they gave us another identity, and now we're living that identity as our own. And we are teaching our children to take that same identity as their own.
Exactly.
Social engineering. We've been social.
That's right. That's right. And it will continue until we teach the people them how to think. The art of thinking. You don't learn that in school. In school, you learn the art of memorizing.
So you can.
You don't learn the art of thinking. It's like to think is for you to be deliberate in thought. That means you're thinking something totally new. Nothing that, they're giving you. Something that you want of your own self. When nobody instructs you in. This is thinking. And then to be calm, to be, decisive. You decide on what it is. Like, you see, people hear imagination creates reality. And then the thing they could just sit down in a state of daydreaming. But imagination and daydreaming is different.
Or they keep imagining the same old scenario and they keep playing and playing and playing and they get no changes, but they keep coming into obstacles and blockages You get what I'm trying to say? Because they imagine
Yes,
the same thing over
because
and over again.
Yeah.
imagination and daydreaming is different. Daydreaming is a type of dissipation of thoughts. Your thoughts, them are not structured.
Yeah,
You're
you
thinking
just
from
staring in
one
space.
thing to the next to the next. And that way of thinking destroys you. It creates so many circumstances that you just can't catch yourself. Because you're thinking so much different things and you put in feel into it. But imagination is when you decide on one thing, one situation, and then you think that situation all the way through. And then you add to that situation sight. You got to see it. You got to hear the sounds of the environment. You got to taste the air, feel the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? You got to smell the place. So it's like back in the scripture again with Abraham. After he come back from the, how what do you call it, the Battle of Kings, right? He came back from defeating all his authority figures that was before him. Took back authority of himself. He gained back his brother, his self. Lot his brother, which is himself. You see? And he met Melchizedek. Melchizedek is the Christ in you, the power in you that creates all things. And he gave Melchizedek a tenth of his spoil, meaning he turned his 10%, which is his 5 senses, inwardly to his imagination, Melchizedek. And give those thoughts the feeling and the sensory effects that he wants to see manifested. But also, who came was the king of Sodom, the king of this world, the king of the material world, the one who wants you to work and labor, taking your identity from you, your power from you. You see it? So when Melchizedek now turns to give him a gift,
the one that wants to keep you as a Willie Lynch slave.
Right, keep you as a slave, keep you slave to circumstances. When Melchizedek, your human imagination, wants to free you. And now you will be Lord of circumstances. You will be Lord of the material plane. You know, so this is what we need to be teaching our youths then. You know, like when Rasta said, when they first come out, that don't send your children to school, that was a serious thing that they should have kept up.
Yes, that was the best thing going.
But the reason why they didn't keep it up is because they didn't create a school system for themselves to send their children to.
However,
so after a time, the people
it wasn't created, but we still have Rasta teachers, Rasta lawyers, Rasta doctors.
But where are they? They're in the system.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
They're teaching the system.
Exactly. When that should have been done more on the homeschool front.
It should be our own facility, and we should be teaching metaphysics. Frig their history. Let's teach metaphysics. Right now, their mathematics is flawed. You know what I'm saying? Terrence Howard came out and proved that.
I love that.
Because if the square root of 2 is 1.4 and not 1, and then when you multiply 1 times 1, you get 1, then the whole system, the whole foundation is flawed. And these things we must realize it. We cannot continue in this way. Then we're keeping up the system. We're keeping up that false pretense of the lie.
Yeah, because nobody wants to challenge it. They just go with the flow.
You see it? Because they don't know how to challenge it. They can't face it outwardly. You have to retrain the children them that is coming up. And when you retrain them to think the right way, they will change it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're thinking different now. So it will be different effects coming into play now. The same old effects would not be there anymore. It wouldn't have no grounds because there is no one to carry it on in thought.
Exactly.
Once you carry it on in thought, it continues. That's why they have us thinking so much about the system. They create so many things for you to always be thinking about. You're so busy thinking their business that you keep creating what they want you to create and experience in your life.
Exactly. And while we still have to hear the Russians and the Chinese say, I don't like
all
that.
these things.
What's wrong with you? Right. The whole world follow you, but one thing you don't have is unity. Now, when another race has to come and tell you that the whole world follows you, from your music to your clothing, your sports, but you don't have no unity, there's no way you can sleep good at night knowing that you're so disconnected from your people, from your race. Where another race have to come and tell you and show you what they see about you, how they view you, the world view.
That's my point, though. My point.
And it got nothing to do with religion or anything like that. It's about that Willie Lynch syndrome, breaking free from the mental chains. You see what the Russian man said? You're mentally enslaved. You're still enslaved. You can go to church 7 days a week. You're still mentally enslaved because you don't even care about your brother or sister enough. You don't care about them enough because you live in your own little world, in your little box. And anything that's outside that box you live in, you have a problem with it. If it ain't the music you like to hear, you got a problem with it. If it's not the same book you're reading, you got a problem with it.
It's it.
But the Chinese and the Russians and the different nations and races, they don't think so mundane like that.
That's right.
They don't think so petty and nitpicky like that. They think collective. They think community. What's going to benefit me is going to benefit you.
That's right.
That's why he said that they could never have went through what we went through because they don't care to die fighting. They rather die fighting, knowing that they're not slaves, than just accept being a damn slave.
Well, that's my point. That's why they over there fighting right now and dying. They don't want Walmart, and Wells Fargo Bank and Citibank and all these, Western cultures,
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's why other world powers can't touch Russia and China because they are solidarity to their race first.
And you can't be mad at them.
And you can't be mad at them for doing it because, like they said, we should have been doing that. The whole world is following us, but yet we don't even have simple unity. Simple unity.
Like I said,
and that's the slave syndrome. That's the Willie Lynch.
We are the genies model. We have
Willie Lynch is in the school system. Willie Lynch is in the church. Willie Lynch is on the playground. Willie Lynch is all over the black race. Everywhere you look, you'll find Willie Lynch in it. You'll find it. Willie Lynch is in the food they eating. That low food that they eat. You're walking around here with bad nerves.
That is the killer right there, the bad nerves.
Exactly. So when
that is what is doing everything.
He's not mad at, you can't be mad at the Russian man or the Chinese man for speaking that way because they know what they see.
So our worst enemy is within ourselves.
That's right.
Our worst enemy within ourselves, and like I said, we are the genies of the we are the genies in the bottle. Like the minute we recognize that the reason why we create all of the global trends, the reason why, you know, we're stronger and smarter and more creative, and everyone follows us is because we're the natural, God-given custodians of this earth. And it's almost like, you know, it's almost like our children have knocked us over our head and gave us amnesia and took our car keys and our bank card, and now they're just like roaming the earth. It's like, you know, we're laying here with amnesia, right? And our disobedient children is running the earth amok with nuclear codes. You know,
Exactly.
that's what's happening. They don't have any discipline. They don't have any love for nature or for the, you know, they don't want to connect with the pulse of the universe. They don't want to connect with it. They don't, you know, and they're and, you know, and they act like children too because they're selfish, right? No, you can't.
Yeah.
I want to, you know, like the brother said, John said earlier, how they want more and more money. Look
Yes.
at, for example, look at him look at our president, well, the president of the United States, for example. His need for greed and power, you know, is just like he'll never be satisfied with the amount of money that he already has. They're never going to be satisfied. You know, it's like a kid in a candy store right now. That's
Yeah.
how, you know,
The more he get, the more he want. Mm-hmm.
he goes
Yes.
to Venezuela, steals all the oil. He want to go raid Cuba. He wants to, you know,
Mhm.
wherever there's minerals and oil and minerals and things of that nature, he wants to go take that over and just take over Greenland and just like. But this is who's running the world, though. This is who we. This is they're revealing themselves, right, for who they really are, right now as we
That's
speak.
right.
What's happening? You know what I mean?
That's right.
And we
You
are
know?
for that. We're the ones. Like I said, it's like they use us to manifest what they want.
That's right.
We believe in them. We don't believe in ourselves. They've very cleverly,
Mm-hmm.
very cleverly put us under a spell.
Yes.
So we're looking at them as God instead of ourselves. Basically,
Right.
they got their face on the dollar bill, and it says, "In God we trust." See, it's all these little subtle, subliminal things that they do.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, they got their face on the dollar bill. They have their face. You know, they say, "In God we trust" on the dollar bill. They have us thinking that their standard of beauty is better than our chocolate melanin skin. They have our women wearing blonde wigs and bleaching their skin and things of that nature because we're looking at their standard of beauty as the.
That's right.
You see what
That's
I'm saying?
right.
All of that. It's all of this together. All of it is a collective. You know, is the reason why we're in the situation we're in. And but I had some my peoples in Ethiopia. I talked to this one brother for a while. And he was like, you know, because I was like, Ethiopia, you know, you guys fought. Y'all fought, even though, you know, y'all still got influence, but you guys fought to keep, you know, the global elites like out of y'all's country to a strong degree. You know, and I was just giving him flowers. I was giving him respect, him and his country and his people respect for what they did. And he was like, but you know, how did you guys have to be the strongest of the strongest in order to survive what y'all went through? He was like, I can't even imagine. I don't even know how you're standing here talking to me smiling because of what they took your ancestors through. You know? That kind of hit me like, wow, like we must be something special in order to be taken through hell and back. And we're still here on this podcast able to build and recognize who we really recognize that we're God after all of that we've been through. After all of that, they took us.
Yes.
We're still here,
Mm.
manifesting, building right here at this very moment.
Yes.
You know? So that made
Mhm.
me like, it made me even more prouder of who I am and where I come from. When
Right.
you have an outsider, he's not necessarily an outsider, but he's, someone whose ancestors didn't go through what my ancestors went through. And for, the way
Mhm.
they look at us is like, wow, you guys how did you guys go through that and survive and still be able to smile and have such a positive outlook at life? Like you guys, how was you able to do that? And I really didn't have an answer. I just was like,
Mm.
all I can say is the strongest of the strongest survived. In order
Yeah.
because the strongest of the strongest. So think about being socially engineered. While they was actually trying to socially engineer us to be just like cattle slaves, they was actually
Mhm.
engineering us to be the strongest of the strongest, right?
Yes.
Because the weak didn't survive. The weak ones didn't even make it across the transatlantic. They didn't even make it
Right.
across. So by the
Right.
time ships got into the Jamaica and Haiti and all of those islands in South America, it was nothing but
Mm.
strong survivors. The need to survive,
Mm.
consumed us, right?
Yes, sir.
They've just been trying to destroy us since then, and it's nothing they do is going to work. But once we recognize that, okay, they haven't gotten rid of us yet, and everything they try is not going to work. Who are we really? Why are we so special? Why are we so? We have to ask ourselves that.
Mhm.
And once
Yeah.
we find the answer to that question, I'm telling you, overnight, we will get our rightful throne back overnight. We will take our rightful place on this planet overnight. We're the
Yes.
sleeping lions. We're the
Once
sleeping
we change the thoughts and
Right.
change the mind.
Once you change your mind, everything
Yes.
else is going to change.
Mhm.
And that's the battle that we're fighting right now. The battle for our minds.
That's right.
Free your mind, right? And everything else is going to follow.
Yes.
So that's a very deep, profound thing, But how do we, I guess just by this conversation that we're having right now, it's manifesting the reality. It's planting the seed. And we just have to keep watering that seed in order for it to grow. The mere fact that we're sitting here talking about this is actually manifesting in itself. Manifestation in itself.
Oh, most naturally.
Yeah.
Because our friend in the chat, everything we saying, he was either saying it earlier today or he saw the video at 7 p.m. today. So it shows that synchronicities are definitely there. We just got to have those conversations, and then people will hear it, and then you'll know where the synchronizations are,
That's right. I love it. I give thanks for the moment,
So we got to do this more often, because it seems like people are listening, They may not be saying anything, but they're listening, and a lot of times,
most naturally.
They don't know how to engage because they still are fighting with their own Willie Lynch psychosis. You know what I mean? It's a chain that's kind of hard to break. It's hard to admit that I got the Willie Lynch syndrome. Who wants to admit that they have that type of sickness? Because it is a sickness,
Yes.
Well, at the end of Django Unchained, right? I don't know if Jah, have you saw that movie Django Unchained?
Django, yeah.
Django Unchained with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. I remember that video, but that video make me laugh, but especially when he beat the slave, the overseer.
Y'all remember at the end of the movie, right? At the end of the movie.
Did you see that? Did you see when he said he doing what? He about to whip such and such. He was like, okay. He was like, okay. He snatched that whip.
Funny.
Look, at the end of that movie, if you can remember, at the very end of the movie, when after he gets rid of the two slave owners, right?
And he say, bye, Miss Henry. Bye, Miss Henry. And he shot her.
Right? He goes up to the slave. The slaves was in a cage after he killed the slave owners he got rid of them, right? And he opens the cage. I mean, that it was at the end of the movie, right? He opens the cage. The two slaves, they were so mentally gone, right?
Or you talk about the gate. He opened up the door for them to leave.
And they just sat there and looked at him. They didn't even walk out. They didn't even know they were so socially engineered to be a slave, right?
Yes.
And they didn't leave. They just looked at him like they didn't know what was. They
needed instructions, you know.
That's right.
Right now, it's just the cage is, you know, it's in our mind. It's not physical, but it's like we don't recognize that we're free. We don't recognize that we're still sitting at, like you said, depending on all of these outside things, money, and you know, the feeling like we.
And it gives you the false illusion of freedom.
Yeah, you can only be free if you have money. That's what they're telling us.
That's right, and that is so far from the truth.
Because guess
You're
what?
free. You're free when you know you don't depend on money or material things to survive. That's when you're free. You're no longer a slave to them and their system.
And they keep the power. Guess what? They control the money. They create the money. So it's like they're always going to have power over us because they create the money. They create this material things, right? That we feel like we need in order to be free. So they have.
And that.
You feel me? Like but we don't look at it like that. We think we need what they have in order to be free, but we're already free.
And that's what it is. That's the identity theft. Once you think that you need what they have, you have given over your identity and power to the thing that you think you need. So now that thing, that money, that job, it becomes your God, because now you are dependent on that.
Right.
So if anytime you don't have that or start to lack it, your world turn topsy-turvy. You can't think. Oh, you get restless. You're sick. You're stressed. Just because of a little material thing. You see it? And millionaires, billionaires are the same way. So money does not make you wealthy. It does not make you abundant. What makes you abundant and wealthy is the mental state that you're occupying. Seeing your identity as abundant, seeing your identity as wealthy, and only then your world shall reflect that. It don't have to be money. You can live, I'm telling you, one of these days I was going to really tell the eyes them what I have experienced here. You see it? And why I'm able to speak the way that I am speaking now. Because it's all from experience. It's right? It's not just from intellectual, I go read and study book. No. It's experience that I experience why I'm able to explain it to this degree. And I'm still experiencing, because I want to bring my mind to that mastermind, that full control. And it takes a process to get there. You know, so the process is unfolding right now.
Right.
You know? And I give thanks to the platform that I have provided for me to even bring this teachings them to the audience, to the eyes audience. You know what I'm saying? Because we all need this. This is the salvation that is needed. The new way of thinking. And once everybody understand and recognize the wrong from the right, and realize it's just about thinking and what you're thinking, then they will start to make changes. You will see the world change. Birds of the same feather will flock together. The system will lose grip on the people, because it's the people then that is holding on to the system. The system ain't doing nothing. The system just there.
Right.
The people that is holding on. Once the people let go, the system goes. Once you realize that you could live without money and be properly well fed and be secure in earth, then you will have no fear. But until then, people are living in fear. That's why you see everybody out there hustling, trying to make this so-called money. They're all living in fear.
Yeah, that's what the person in the chat said. We gotta let go of that illusion.
That's right. You see it? And that's one of the things that will be very challenging for most people. You know, because this has been the train of thought all their life.
I know.
You know, but though it's challenging, it's doable. It can be done.
Oh yeah.
You know?
All it
So
takes is enough of us to come together and
yes.
Create that snowball effect, right? It just takes
That's what is going on right now, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We could definitely always do a part 2 on this, because you can never cover everything in one session.
Yes. There's so much more to speak about, and it's so much more, because there is a lot of ways that we're holding on to that we got during slavery. There's a lot of ways in how we still bring up our children as how the slaves then used to bring up their children to fear the slave master. And one of them is, you got to go to school, you got to get a good job so you can make it in this system, You know what I'm saying?
So you can
that
be
is
better
one of
than
the
this
two
lady's
things.
daughter, and you can be better than that lady's daughter. It's always competition.
Yes. All the comparing and all these things. No, all those things is what we learn in slavery. We was taught that. The Willie Lynch syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to be better than the next one, so ain't no one want to work together.
Yeah, that part.
No one trusting each other, but then they look into the same slave master, the same one who is in power, and trying to work with him. And they know that he's not for them, but they wouldn't turn to their brother.
Right.
They wouldn't turn to their sister. You know? So,
money, we don't want to share money with each other. Like, we don't want to,
Exactly. But
that's another thing too.
But they full of God, though. They full of God. It's Willie Lynch in them.
But all of that there can be easily changed. We just need to start meditate differently.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, our reality is that way because we were thinking that way. We have to change our thoughts. We have to change our thoughts to only be thinking in the way of what we're desiring. And it's a very, very challenging process.
Exactly.
Very, very challenging. You have to totally rewrite your script.
That's why I said we gotta do different parts on this topic, because that Lynch topic runs broad and wide,
Yeah.
And there is ways to decode it, to break away from it, so we can always talk about that at a later date.
That's right.
on your side. I know it's late on my
Hey,
side.
it's getting early on my side, not late.
Early, right? Early for you, late for me.
It's almost 4 in the morning, but don't worry about it. This moment is purposeful, so we give thanks, and we will do our due duty to bring across the message to the people then. And it's not me alone that is speaking about it. There is many others on the internet. They're speaking about it. And what I would say, I commend each and every one of us, no matter the stage that we're at. Once this message is coming out, it's giving the tools to the people then so that they can free themselves from this mental slavery.
Because it is a difficult topic to talk about. It's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of checking yourself, that people don't
Very
like.
much so.
Because we're in this delusion that we're perfect and nothing is wrong with me. You know what I mean? Because they're caught up in this matrix of what they think is normal. So it takes a real bold person to even want to discuss the topic, period.
Oh, yes. And I say the first thing, you have to admit to yourself that, the trouble that you're going through, the things that happen to you, the circumstances that you're facing is all your fault. What? What you mean? When I got locked up last week, that was my fault? Huh? You telling me?
Of course it was.
Yes. But this is the reality of it. And until people realize that, change would not come in their life.
Exactly. Because
their very attitude towards the thoughts that they're having is causing their experience. Their attitude is their feeling, the engine that is driving the thought.
Right.
It is the intention behind the thought. It's what is giving the thought its vitality, its essence, its fruitfulness. That feeling behind that thought.
And that's what lands you in jail.
That's right. And you got to come back to all minds are the same minds. All minds are the same mind. They need to know this. Because when you think that way, you are drawing people to act out those thoughts to you.
True. Yeah.
You're doing that. You're literally doing that.
That is true. Even though I'm making
You're calling them.
Right.
You see, because that they say, what is the cause of all discord, all contention, all undesirable conditions in your life? And it's when you're concentrating, when you're thinking, when you're discussing discordant thoughts. You see?
Exactly.
When you do this, the law of attraction is automatically working relentlessly, bringing those thoughts into manifestation. It do not stop working. Right. So whatever you sit down and you talk about is being created in that mind space of yours for you to experience in your reality.
Yeah.
So we have to learn to start to think more of just solutions. Think more of just what we want to see.
Yeah, like how can you prevent from going to jail? What's the solution that I can use that will prevent me?
Right. Start thinking about that. I could play in some clubs. I could set up an online something on TikTok where, the people then will give back money or whatever. Create something. Become creative in your mind. You're a God. There is a way. Once you have a will, there is a way. Because the will produce the way.
But remember, I said earlier, Jah Sparks, not everybody see themselves as God. They're looking for God outside in the sky, coming back to save them.
That's right. You see it? That's right. You know, so
Get offended when you put them in the God status because they don't see themselves as special.
mhm.
Even
Because
though
the thing that the thing that you're blaspheming.
even though the Bible said ye are gods and you can do what I do and even greater. Even with the Bible telling you that, some of them
Yes.
still offended. And they still
Yes.
say, no, I'm not God. That's not right. You can't say you God. God is outside
So
of you. God is coming
it's
back.
showing you, it shows you the consciousness, because that moment was showing you a conscious state of the people, you know.
Mhm.
Now that conscious state that is written in the Bible is what is happening right now today. Because that's what Christ say. Christ say, in your book, it says, ye are gods and children of the Most High. And now you're crucifying me. You're condemning me because I say I am the Son of God.
And then he told them, you can do what I do and even greater.
You see it? So it's showing you that you coming now today and telling someone they're God, or even calling yourself God, will have the same ones who will come out and say, no, you're blaspheming. And they're reading the same book that telling them they are gods.
That part.
It's the same thing going on today.
That part.
It's all
You see that in the church.
psychological,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all mental. All is mind and the universe is mental.
Correct.
You see it?
Yes. So
So these things here, we just got to overs. And once we overs it, we'll have a better direction to follow.
Yeah, it'll start making sense, you know. And then accountability is always there. You have to take accountability. It's not always the person's fault. You gotta have some type of interaction in your outcomes. Whether
Yes,
it's
you gotta be
a bad outcome. You interacted with it, and you made that outcome become the way it became because the way you interacted, the energy.
That's
you put,
right.
The energy.
That's
you got
right.
back. So if your energy
That's
that you put
right.
out was low and negative, that's why you went to jail.
It's true. It is true.
You walk away with peace. You know what I'm saying? You walk away in peace.
Yes. Natural.
And you're supposed to learn from every.
That's right.
First, you're supposed to learn from every lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And you're supposed to.
Especially if they keep happening.
Yeah, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over.
And
without
you learn and evolve.
Well, you will be bound to the same things will keep happening to you if you don't learn. You don't learn from your mistakes. You don't learn from the things that you're doing that you're not supposed to be doing. You're going to keep doing the same thing over and over, right? And
yes,
there's no growth in that. There's no growth.
That's right.
Exactly.
There's only destruction. You know, that's just more of the same thing trying to teach you what you're supposed to learn. And every time you don't learn, you just destroy yourself more.
Yes.
Destroy yourself more until you learn.
And you wonder why your head hurting, why you feel weak, and why you can't sleep, and why your body's aching all the time. You know what I'm saying? Why your nerves is bad. You wonder why that's like that.
Yes.
Well,
it's all about self.
I don't even think they wonder why it's like that. I think they blame outside sources of why it's like that. You know what I mean? Yes,
that's what we were taught. We were taught to blame the outside source. Don't blame yourself. It's not you. You know, it's they. They are oppressing you. They are doing this. They're doing that to you. No. We are oppressing ourselves. We are not willing to change. You know, we are not willing to conform. If something is not working for us, we don't know how to adapt. We are beings that can adapt to anything. We can change the situation of anything. And because we're living in a world that we think is limited, we don't see ourselves being able to do it. So now we have to change our viewpoint of the world. The world is unlimited now. So if now the world is unlimited, then you have an unlimited selection of choices where you can change your experience.
Exactly.
So now the power comes back right into your hands where it belonged from the beginning. And this is what should motivate people now to even consider this road of metaphysics. Because you gain back control and power of your being. Regardless if you say you want to be Christian, Muslim, Jew, Gentile, Rasta, whatever. Learn the power of the mind. And then you will be a better whatever label you put on yourself.
It's going to be hard for those religions to learn the power of the mind because those religions want to control your mind.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The religion itself is based on this same mind science. All the religions them is based on this mind science, is the interpretation that the people them is given about it that is leading the people them astray.
That part.
If you read the Quran, I didn't read the whole Quran. I read like the first, I would say 5 chapters, honestly. But when I read that, I saw immediately it was a book on mind science. It was teaching you how to manifest. And that's what the Bible teach you. That's what the Quran teach you. That's what the book of Gilgamesh, that's what the papyrus teach you. All of them. That's what the emerald tablets teach you. That's what the Corpus Hermetica teach you. All those books, every one of those ancient texts is teaching you about manifestation. Teaching you that your thought is what is creating your reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Every one of those books. But then now they want to teach it as some outer body, outside in this world experience. When it's something to be experienced within.
Exactly. And
it can only be seen and felt and known within, not without.
And you'll always be waiting and seeking because you're not looking within, you're looking without.
That's right. You will never get the prize without. Remember the saying, you say, this wicked generation looketh for a sign, you know. But there shall no sign be given but the sign of Jonah in the belly of the whale, 3 days. What Jonah doing in the belly of the whale? So that means you got to go into yourself, go into your belly.
Go into meditation type of way.
Right, go into yourself. Jonah was fasting and praying in there. He couldn't eat, he couldn't drink, he couldn't do nothing. He had to sit down and pray in supplication.
Exactly.
So he said, after that, then shall you see the Son of Man appear in his glory. So when you go into yourself, then shall you see your sun, your light, your imagination appear in your world in its glory.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's speaking about. You're the only one there is. Everyone has to conform to your thoughts. And this is how we have to view creation. However, we're thinking the people them that are around us are there to interact and reveal to us those thoughts. I see they talk about NPCs. I don't know if you are familiar with it. Non-NPCs, non-player characters.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
I never heard
what
of
I
that.
want to say about that is that it have people who have no soul.
Yeah, you see, yeah. Okay,
These people are crazy, you know.
For example, if you're playing a video game,
Mm-hmm.
and you're walking down the street in the video game and you see characters going about their day-to-day lives. That's what an NPC is. They don't matter the story. They're not even, they're not even a real. They're not even a, they're not a part of the video game. It's just a character.
Right. Now, this is my thing on that. Right. To me, my viewpoint, everyone has a soul. Now, what they want to call NPCs, and they're basing it off of a video game. Remember, yes, remember a video game, right, has been programmed for that person, that NPC, to be non-active, right? In your world, the people them that are non-active to you are the ones then that are not on your frequency of thoughts. When you change your frequency, the same one that was non-active might be on that frequency. And then now you will start to interact with that one. The one that was on the other frequency, now you stop interacting with them. This is how life works. Yeah. That's why they say, change your frequency, you change your friends. Change your vibration, you change who you interact with. Everyone is here. That good person, that good wealthy person who could give you $1 million freely exists. But you have to change your frequency to meet with that person.
Okay, you just gave me an idea. That's something I'm going to write in my book right here. But that's another note from my book.
Not right. But this is how things, this is how things is, because that same non-player character in your world is
out there, but we just have not, connected to that type of frequency,
Yes, because the same non-player character in your world is a player character in another one world. Your brethren or sister might come and say, oh yeah, I know that person, man. Me and that person will get along great, Me and that person will go here, me and that person will go there. But in your world, he's a non-player character. You don't even look at him and talk to him.
Right. Exactly.
So that's why I say everyone has a soul. We can't listen to the narratives of the people, these people is trying to take us down another rabbit hole, another mental slavery. How you could look now at someone who looks like you and say they don't have a soul?
Well,
so then how are you going to treat them next?
Right.
How are you going to treat them next?
I think maybe the best way to say that is like they may have a soul, but they act soulless. They act like they don't.
No, they don't act. They're not acting soulless. They're not they're not vibrating on your frequency. So you're not interacting with them. They're interacting with who is vibrating on their frequency.
Whether it's low or high, I get you. Yeah.
Right. Now, the wealthy person, apart from the poor person, why they are not friends?
Because they ain't on the same level.
All right, they're not on the same frequency. They don't carry the same thoughts. They're not going to go to the same place for dinner. They're not going to go to the same place to socialize. They're not going to do the same things. Right. The poor man is thinking that he can't do this and he can't afford that and he can't, so he subjects himself in a box. The rich man is thinking, oh, I could do all these things and I have money to go over here and I can go on a cruise and I can go vacation over there. So it's two different thought patterns, two different frequency, two different states of consciousness.
Exactly.
For you to be rich, you have to occupy the state of consciousness of a rich person. Being identified with self. I am rich. And then you don't turn from that. You don't change from that thought. You apply faith to that thought. Now you're faithful to that thought. That thought is your only reality now. Exactly. Regardless of if your bank account is empty. Right. You're rich.
That's right.
Now can you control your thoughts knowing that your bank account is empty, but seeing yourself and feeling yourself rich all day long, that is the work we have to do. That is the renewing of the mind, changing the set of thoughts that you once had, because your current situation is your current way of thinking.
That's right.
So in order for you to change it, you have to totally change all those thoughts, because all those thoughts makes up your reality that you're experiencing now.
That's true. That's true.
So you see the inner work that has to be done?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Very
That's
deep.
why I said we need a part 2, 3, and 4 on this type of topic.
Yeah, man. It's a restructuring of oneself from inwardly.
Exactly.
Let's set it up. I'm definitely going to do some research, and the next time we get back live, we'll continue to build on this, because it needs to be talked about and it needs to be built on. We already created.
Most naturally. Naturally.
Maybe next Thursday and Friday, right?
Yeah, whenever I free, because it's the platform, I there and I free, this is my work,
Okay.
I'm here living it, so I got to teach it,
How does Thursday sound for you? No, I was asking Kufu, how does Thursday sound for him?
Yeah, I'll be free Thursday. Good Thursday.
Okay. But I know you said coaching comes on Thursdays, right? It won't be an issue or problem?
No, man. Everything is blessed. It's my work. It's my duty. This is what I'm here for.
Okay. So Thursday is good for you, Kufu, right?
Huh?
I said Thursday is good for you too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, and we must practice where two agree on one thing concerning one thing in earth, it is done.
That's right.
So we have to start to utilize our spiritual power. If you desire something, come, go to your brethren, your sister, and sit down, and both of you all agree that this is what it is. And that agreement is going to secure it in creation. And we must understand also that we can forgive each other of each other's sins and make them pure and whole again just by word. We can bless people and make them receive blessings just by our word. All these things is our power. So that we have to start to learn to speak with true intention. If I say I bless you, I mean it with my whole soul. I feel it with every part of my being. And then you will receive that blessing. But there are people who are saying, yeah, man, bless you, but ain't no power, ain't no feeling behind it. It's empty words, empty blessing.
Yeah,
They're just saying it because it sounds nice.
Just to say I said it.
You see it. But where is the feeling? Where is the meaning behind it? When you bless someone, you should see the life change.
Exactly.
And this is what I'm speaking about. People speaking empty words out there. We have the power to transform anybody's life for the better. We have that power. And you know what? It's easier to apply this teaching on someone else than upon yourself. It's much, much easier. Because upon yourself, you got to battle all your memories and all your situations telling you don't have it and you don't this and you got to battle with them, right? But with someone else, you could just see them as how you would like them to be or how they desire to be. And you ain't got to battle with nothing. You could see them as it and then be able to stay in that thought.
Exactly.
So it's easier to pray for others, to heal others, than for yourself. But when you do that prayer and you heal others, you pray for others, you bring others wealth, you bring others abundance, it's returned to you. Whatever you give, you shall receive. Decide. So this is how the human imagination should be used to heal and uplift and bring people them to their desired state, and not just to be trying to manifest money like the teaching now on the internet.
Right.
All that is leading you back into dependency on the system.
Right.
And the people are not realizing it. Got to be very careful. A lot of people is saying they're woken, but they're not really, but every man have a right. So we don't speak in any type of resistant, critical, discordant, fearful way. We don't speak it. Because when you speak it, you disrupt your core vibration. And your core vibration is what makes you healthy or sick.
Right.
So we got to be mindful.
And we're going to hold that thought for next week. And
Yes.
that's what we're going to pick up off of. Healthy.
All right.
Healthy or sick. The topic is still going to be don't fight the effects, change your thoughts. But healthy,
Of course.
But healthy or
Of
sick.
course.
Is the
That will be great.
Yes.
Because you cannot fight the effects of feeling sick. You just got to go to the cause and declare that you're healthy and remain there, and you shall become healthy. Mind creates. Mind is the powerhouse. They separate us from our mind, and that's why we're unable to do it. But with practice, we will be able to regain control and full power of this material plane once again.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I give thanks, Honorable Empress.
I give thanks.
Honorable King, I give thanks, my Lord Kufu.
Thank you, for coming through, and everybody in the chat, and all the listeners. We'll be back again.
Yes, bless them up,
Too. So, we get our little notes together and we just keep going with it. That's all. You just got to keep
That's
going.
it right there. We're building a community of thinkers,
Yes.
of right thinkers, where we are changing tomorrow by changing today.
Yes. And who have ears will hear. That's it.
That's right. That's right. So, blessed love, royal family. Do full joy the them days ahead. And until such time.
Okay, peace.
Blessed love.